All right, welcome to, wow, I feel loud.
Yeah.
Welcome to OnSet. I am Daniel Norton. Today we're gonna,
We're doing good, man.
Today we're gonna talk about beauty photography. I'm here with the beautiful Erica.
Hello.
And the,
Just get going.
and Seth over here on the Mighty Mix. So if you don't love the music playing, that's on him. All right, so we're going to talk beauty photography. If you have questions, please do ask, whether you're online in the chat or here in the Adorama store. I guess some public service announcements. Both myself and Seth are going to be in Louisville, Kentucky on
In a few hours.
on Monday. Yeah. So or on Tuesday. So if you are at the Imaging USA show, we're going to be at the Adorama booth. Seth's going to be there Tuesday. I'll be there Monday, but the booth will be there the whole show. So check it out. Lots of good people there. Ab, Joe McNally, and others who I am not remembering off the top of my head. But there'll be a lot of people there. You can check out I'm sure there's a list somewhere. Is that somewhere? It's somewhere. Don't worry about it. It's on the website. Okay, there we go.
And Dan's also going to be on stage Monday morning. So go to that if you're going to Imaging, because Dan can't hype himself or promote anything properly.
That is correct. I will be on stage. So, come see me. It'll be really fun. All right, so today we're going to talk beauty photography. So this is going to be real fun. We're going to talk about kind of what it is, how we're going to do it, and there's kind of two avenues I'm going to take here. One is going to be beauty photography commercially, like what it is, kind of why we do it a certain way. The other one's going to be the idea that you can use these techniques with whatever subject you have in front of you when you're trying to create a beauty-like image, because you have 2 points to that. You have beauty portraits, which is basically using beauty techniques on whoever you're photographing, and then there's the beauty photography, which is more of a commercial endeavor, as it would be. So I'm going to use a beauty dish because we're doing beauty, but you can use any number of accessories. What's important is we want to do a few things with beauty photography. We want to make sure the skin looks smooth and even, and we want to make sure that we show contour and shape in our images. Because of that, we want to use a relatively small light source so we get shadow, right? But we want to make sure it's an even light source, so a lot of times people will diffuse it or do other things. So we'll talk about why we use a beauty dish, how it works, and so on as we get closer. So let's just do this. Right. So I'm gonna. I will try to say all the gear I'm using. Sorry about that. As I go, but I will likely forget. So I will start by saying I'm using a Nikon. This is a Z6ii. I just have a 24 to 120 on there. If you're shooting beauty photography for commercial purposes, you can use any number of lenses. I like to use a zoom when I'm doing demos, so it's a good lens. It works, but if you were to ask me, because people will ask, 85 millimeter is very popular for a lot of people, but I would say somewhere in the vicinity of 135 is probably a sweet spot for most beauty. And why is that? So let's talk lenses for a second. So when we use different lenses, and people will associate, and I'm talking full frame at this point, you can do the math for the rest of it. When we talk about the lens doing, like manipulating the subject, making them, their face look wider or more narrow, or the features, it has more to do with where you stand than anything else. So if we think about a beauty shot, which is going to be, from the top of the head to, let's say, to the chest generally, or anywhere closer, we're going to need to be relatively close in to do that. If we use a wide angle lens to do that, we're going to be right on top of them, right? Which is going to make distortion. It's going to make it, the further back we get, the more kind of structured the face will look. The less of this kind of, or the more like the compression, as they call it, will happen. So that's why I say 135 is nice, because you're a little further back. 85 is probably closer to what people use for portraits, because it gives you a little bit, but not too much. This is one of the few kind of genres that I would use something like a 200 for a headshot. Because again, sometimes we're trying to pull that compression out to really square the face off and that kind of thing. But we're not going to do that today because this space is not big enough. All right, so we talked about lenses. There's a Profoto light here. This is the B10x, B10x Plus. It's got too many things going on. It's an X and a Plus. I'm going to use this roller stand because we're going to be manipulating the light in and out. Whenever you're using a stand where you're going to boom out a light, make sure you put the weight out, the sandbag on the leg out here at C-stand, and make sure that the you know, the arm's gonna go out over the leg, because we're gonna put this in the center. What we're gonna start with, because this is the most common thing that we're gonna use for beauty photography, so we're probably just gonna stay here most of the day, is we're gonna work with butterfly lighting. So butterfly lighting means that we're placing the light in the center of the face where the person's looking. So where they look is very important here. It doesn't mean the light's over the camera necessarily. It means it's over the center of the face. So she's gonna be looking at me, so that's why I'm putting it here. If she was looking here, then I would put the light here, because I want it on the center of her face as she's looking. That's what's important. It doesn't have anything to do with camera position, it has to do with model's position. Okay, so we're gonna boom this out. When you're using a C-stand, you wanna make sure that when you stand behind it, the big arms, the big knobs I should say, are to your right. Okay. All right, so now we've done this. We have the light up in the air. Luckily, this is one of Seth's lights and not mine, so I'm not that worried about it. And, you know, it's easy enough for me to say, well, this is what you should, you know, use it exactly like this, but instead I'm gonna walk through this and we're gonna try the Beauty Dish in different ways. And I'm gonna show you why you would do it different ways for what you're working with. This is a Beauty Dish, it's a silver one. It has a grid on it. So if you notice, that costs more than the dish. If you notice, it's same price. What makes a Beauty Dish unique is a couple of things. One is that, this is what most people lean into. We'll talk about that in a second. One is that it is shallow. Okay, the shallowness of the dish affects the way the light comes out of the front. It makes it nice and even because the way the light's coming out, it's gonna push it forward. It's not a focused light like a spotlight, it's more even. We want that, even light, right, over the face. The deflector is there to make it so you don't get a hot spot, because we're gonna put it close to her. And if we put it close, this would be hot. We don't want a hot spot, right? So that's what the deflector's for. While, depending on the light you're using, it might seem like the deflector's there so you bounce your flash off of it. That's not why it's there. That's something it does, but that's not why it's there. It's there to prevent a hot spot. Okay, so let's affix this to the light. This is a Profoto, so you just slide it on like this. Done. All right, easy as that. It's very warm in here, right? I know. They got the heat on. All right. Don't worry, I won't continue to take anything off after this point. Okay, so I'm gonna set my camera at, we'll say 120, because I said I was gonna. I'm also gonna be shooting this horizontally, just because it's easier for the screens here. Obviously, depending on where you're going to publish this image, you may want to shoot it vertically, like let's say if it's in a magazine or something. So this space is pretty small, and if I kept it at 120, like I just said I was gonna do, what we would find is I'm not gonna be able to get much of her head in the shot, so I'm probably not gonna be able to do that. So obviously space is something that's going to help you decide your focal length as well. All right, so we'll go with there, all right. All right, here's our light. It's not gonna stay like this.
Why not?
Hopefully.
You gonna turn it on?
Maybe. Right. This could be the best shot ever. I'm just not going to do it. But so what we're going to do is we're going to take our light and we're going to bring it down. And there's a few things we want to consider here. Because we want the light to be even on the face, we have to consider where her face is going to be in the shot. Beauty photography is a little bit more precise than, let's say, portrait. We might want to just open it up. If her face is going to be up in the air like this, then we might tip our light higher so we get more even across her face. She'll probably have her chin up a bit because that generally helps with the extension, but it's going to be more or less flattish, so this is probably a good position for it. I might tip it a little bit more, but I think this is probably going to be good. And the reason why I might tip more is because when I raise it, I might not. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Thank you. All right. So each of these lights can be in a channel and a group. This one's in channel 13, group A, so it's good I know that. All right. Because we're going to be able to control our lights separate. We will use more than one light eventually, because the more lights you use, the more you get paid. All right. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn off any additional. Wow. I'm going to do that, which wasn't at all what I was trying to do. All right, oh, because I'm on light, I got you, okay. Okay. We have a modeling light if we want to aim it, which we can very well do. Obviously, this is not, you might want to warn her first. I don't like to, but you probably should. We can see where the light's falling if we like. All right, yeah, keep going.
Gotta keep my toes a bit too long.
Well, as I've said many times, if you tell somebody, I'm going to turn on the light, the first thing they do is they look at it anyway. So it's not like it ever helps.
Do you have a preference for a C-Sen style with wheels or roller stands?
Okay, do I have a preference of well, I guess I don't have to say it because you put it over this way. That's nice. So you just have to read it back. I prefer a big roller stand, but I don't think we have one here. No. Yeah, I tend to prefer that. I think it's a little more stable, especially if you project out a large item like a big Octa or something, because a roller stand is going to have a wider stance. So generally, I would go that way. But this is what we have here, and for a beauty dish, it's totally fine. Yeah, it also eats up a lot of space. I was just using a big roller stand earlier. All right, so we're going to put before we do anything, because I got ahead of myself, I got very excited here with the beauty shots and everything. What we need to establish next is that this light is going to be the only light that's going to affect our shot, right? What we don't want to do is take a shot and go, oh, that's weird, and then start adjusting it and find out it's because we have all these other lights going on. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always shooting in places where people have all these lights pointed at me. It's weird, but no, so it's pretty bright in here, but even if you're not in that situation, it's still important to figure out what the light in the space is. So the simplest way to do that is you're going to set your ISO as lowest within the normal range. Shutter speed at the maximum within the normal range. So in this case with this camera, that's 100 ISO, 200th of a second aperture, shutter speed rather. Then we're going to adjust our aperture until we get a black frame. You might say, well, what about depth of field? If you're in a situation where you need to be shooting super wide open or whatever, that would be like a high-speed sync thing, and that's another demo. All right, so.
Beauty dish size recommendation.
Beauty dish size. This is typically the normal size for a beauty dish. I know they make other sizes, but 22 inches is usually the standard size. So I go with standard size. That's how I roll. So I'm at 5'6". We're going to take a shot with no flash, and I'm over here in capture one.
That's how you roll.
That's how I roll.
You roll with whatever is here. You go.
I just work with what's here. I have no idea. All right, so it's a skill I've picked up.
Freeloading? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like my mom used to say, beggars can't be choosers. All right, so here I am, and I can see my black frame, but I want to see how dark it is, right? We want to make sure. So what we're going to jump over into our exposure slider, and I'm just going to bring it over until we start to see some detail on her face, around there. That's just about 3 stops under. That's pretty good. Yep.
Any reason you're not using live view instead?
So is there a reason I'm not using live view? Live view here on Capture One? Because it's slow. And plus I wouldn't see the exposure of the flash with live view, which is what I want to see. So I am using live view on the camera though, if that was the question there. I like to use live view on the camera. I'm one of those people that years ago when this became a regular thing, I made fun of the photographers that used it, like, it is the best feature to ever be put in the camera. Because we can stand here and I can see in the camera and see my subject, which is especially useful for portraits. Okay.
Before you get going, you got a bunch of questions.
Oh, got questions.
All right, so someone's basically asking about the deflector disc in the dish for excessive hot spots towards the forehead. And when would you use a 7-inch dish that comes with constant lights, which isn't a dish, those are reflectors.
Right, you just answered it. Carrier zoom reflector, what deflector or a beauty dish? Okay, so again, there's two factors in the beauty dish. The deflector kills a hot spot when you're real close, but the deepness of the pan makes the light more even. A zoom reflector is more of a focus thing. It's there to just throw as much light as possible. So what you'll get if you shine it like on the wall is you'll get an uneven light, right? That's what a standard reflector, I don't have one to show, but that's what a standard reflector does. Magnum reflector does that, all that stuff does that. So there's a big difference. That would be generally not considered beautiful light. You'd want to modify that into an umbrella, through a silk, whatever, but you wouldn't just shine that on somebody unless even if you wanted that hard look, you usually wouldn't use a zoom reflector for that. That would be not good. Okay, so 7-inch dish, constant lights. Yeah, so some hot lights have small dishes, exactly. You'd want to modify it. You don't usually want to shine that directly on somebody. In fact, today, we used the 7-inch dish, but I bounced it off the white wall in my studio to create a big soft light. That's how you do something like that. Okay, that was okay. Good questions. All right, so with the beauty dish in position, more or less, I'm going to use TTL or through the lens metering. That means that I'm going to basically have the camera do the work for me.
Nice.
The camera is going to communicate with the flash. It's going to set a proper exposure, in theory. And we're going to take a look. And what we're going to get here is hopefully a perfect exposure. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. We have an exposure. So we have a good exposure. There's a lot of things we could do from here. We could switch to manual. Somebody's about to say that in the chat. And then adjust it. We could adjust it using TTL. You know, there's a lot of things we could do. That actually looks like a pretty darn good exposure, though. I'll zoom in to show that it's sharp. Seth taught me that.
You do P,
Yeah.
man. You do P.
Oh.
And then you do,
Oh, I don't like that.
Hey, look at that. Hey.
There it is. Sorry, I like that. Okay, there you go. All right. So with the beauty dish in this formation, we've got a wide, even spread of light, which covers her entire face. We have some, obviously we can see shadow under her chin, right? And we can see there is shadow under her nose, but it's very subtle because of the position of the light, right? If we brought the light up higher and tilted it down more, the shadow would drop down further and further. I'm keeping the light relatively flat, which is fine because we can still see little contours here on her cheeks, which is what we're going for. That's basically it. I am using a silver beauty dish. I should point that out as well, which means it's going to have a more specularity to it. It's going to bring the highlights, so the bright parts of my image up. So we do want to check that to make sure that we're not blowing out anywhere, and we're not, because Erica does impeccable makeup.
Question in the chat, how far should the beauty dish be from the subject?
Okay, so how far should the beauty dish be from the subject?
Nice drama ball.
A good rule of thumb with most modifiers is to put them the distance, no more-ish than the distance of the size of the modifier from the subject.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, there you go. So this is a 22-inch dish. It's probably like 26, 28 inches away from her. That's pretty good. I wouldn't put it way back here because then it wouldn't look like a beauty dish anymore. I might put it a little closer, but the reason why I didn't is because I wanted to get it even on her face, and I knew that wouldn't happen from too close, right? Because it would shoot over the top of her head because of the position of my light. If I was lighting her from the side with it, I could have got it a little closer. Yep.
Someone in the chat is asking, well, what if they only have a 12-inch beauty dish?
Well, then you would put it closer.
You guys have to realize that the farther it goes back, the smaller it gets. So if it's 12
Yeah.
inches, yeah, that quickly turns into 6 and 4 inches pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This is where you would start looking at a bigger beauty dish if you wanted a different look.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a 12-inch beauty dish. Doesn't seem like it would be the best thing in the world for shooting a portrait. And the reason for that is because, generally speaking, we want our light source when we're making a portrait to be at least as big as the person's head. That's a good, in shoulders area, right? So 12 inches is, that's not going to cover much. It's going to be super hard. So unless you want that, that's a whole other thing. All right, let's do something here, though. We don't really need to, so we'll do it anyways. This is something you almost never see me use because I like specular poppy light. But if you were shooting something that was more shiny, or you wanted to lower the contrast a little bit in the highlights, we could put a diffuser sock on top. And Seth has splurged and got one.
I got a diffusion gel if you want. It's better than that.
Oh, really?
That's thin.
Yeah, it is. Okay, well, we could do that. Or a gel. We could use a gel. Yeah.
Diffusion gel. All right.
We're going to use a diffusion gel.
Look at the chat.
We are. I'm looking at the chat. So the diffusion gel is going to be, there's a lot of advantages to using gels over the stuff that comes with the beauty dish. That one that comes with it just gives you a little bit of diffusion to kind of bring it down a little bit. A gel, you can decide, right? There's all different types of gels. You can do super heavy gels, like a full stop, half stop. You can do silks. There's all kinds of different things you can get for gels. So having gels that's how you level up, as Seth says.
No, that's Ab.
Ab says level up. All right.
You want single? You want single?
Single is good, yeah. Okay. Niche product for an infant beauty market. What if they have a tiny head? Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. At what height should we put the modifier? Just the top of the head, or is there another? Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so when you're putting a light to shoot a portrait, you generally want to have the center of the light above their eyes. That's the only thing I would say. It could be way above the eyes. It could be way below, wouldn't be below. Way above the eyes. It could be just above the eyes, but always have it above the eyes. That will look the most natural because most light that we encounter in the world is above us that we're being lit by. The sun would be the primary example, because even at the end of the day with the beautiful light coming in at sunset, it's still slightly high. If it gets below you, it starts shooting up, that's not gonna look good. So you don't wanna light somebody from underneath, so above them. Okay, so what's the advantage of a beauty dish versus a softbox? The beauty dish is going to give you a little bit of a punchier light usually than a softbox, and I like a punch.
I'm a photographer now.
Not good.
I love it. No, I had to. I had to do it. There you go. All right, that's how we do that. So I had to. So, see how Erica called that? She knew it right away.
It's like I pay attention. It's crazy.
But Seth did that purposefully to show you the height that it should be. It should be so close that if you even add a clothespin to the bottom, it'll be in the shot. There you go. Nice. That was a very good.
Watch my demo on Tuesday. I got it right the first time.
Now, because we're in TTL, it should compensate. Of course, you've already seen this one. Let's pretend we haven't seen this yet. Because we're in TTL, it should compensate for the gel. As I said, she's not shiny, so we're probably not going to notice a huge difference. But hey, you know, we'll bring it in. All right, yeah, actually we can. See, look at that. Look at the difference between. I mean, again, it's subtle. Okay, no, see, I don't. That's the reason why I don't do that. I like to grab. I'm a pinch and grabber. This versus this. It's not that the exposure is darker, because look at the entire. I mean, the entire face. It's that the highlights have been reduced, right? In most places. Some places, like right on the tip of her nose, it's roughly the same, but mostly on her forehead, it's brighter, or on the non-diffuse side versus the diffuse. So that's what adding diffusion would do. It's going to be something you're going to do if something is shiny, you know, and you don't want to bring that down. Because sometimes you're shooting makeup, for instance, that's supposed to be shiny, and we don't want it to blow out, right? If somebody puts on very shiny makeup, it should look shiny, right? You don't want it to be flat because that's not what the makeup looks like. It looks shiny, so you want to show that, but we don't want it to blow out where you have no detail. So the diffuser will help you with that. You could also use a white beauty dish, but only like true pros like Seth have both white and silver. Somebody like me, I only have a silver.
You use all my stuff anyway. Like, what are you talking
That's true.
about? Someone's asking if you would ever use PL mount cinema lenses for portraiture.
Oh, would I ever use a PL mount cine lens? Yeah, why not? That sounds cool. I mean, sure. If you like the way a lens looks, use it.
Oh, you guys are killing in this chat. Okay, what's the difference between paper and vinyl backdrop?
Okay. But I mean, paper is. You're going to get more options in color with paper. Usually, and vinyl is going to be something that's going to last longer. That would be the main differences. I mean, obviously, one's made out of paper, one's vinyl. Vinyl can take water. There's lots of things like that. But
Sheen.
there might be a sheen to it. Yep. Okay. Now, we're going to switch to something you almost always see me use, which is a grid. Why would we use it? Actually, let's finish the shot. I'm taking the diffusion off because I didn't think it really did much for the way I liked it. We have a shadow under her chin that we might want to fill in a little bit. Because the beauty dish is uncovered, naked maybe, we might say. They're going to bleep that out. We're going to use a reflector. So this is silver.
Specular.
This is specular.
Buzzword.
Yeah. The word for today is specular.
Specular highlight.
Specular highlights. Now,
I don't have to hold it.
because this is a beauty set, normally at a portrait set, we make Erica hold it, but a beauty set, there's always stuff goes on stands.
It changes her posture.
Yeah, exactly, because it changes the posture. He's exactly right.
I'm sitting. I'm just seeing the position.
All right, we're going to use the silver side because we have a silver beauty dish. And generally, you want to match that. You don't have to, but can you shoot in hard edge so we can see the butterfly shadow under her nose? You'll see the butterfly shadow soon. Yes, no worries about that. Hey, Honduras, welcome. All right. All right. All right, so this is effectively a clamshell light. No extra charge for that. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure that this light can hit the board. So the board's got to be in close,
Yep.
and it's got to be in high.
Yep. I don't know what your frame is.
Yeah, and generally speaking, again, you want to move the board up until it is basically in the shot, and then drop it down a tiny bit. It's just barely in there.
Just tell me.
Yeah. No, it's up, up, down, 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 down. Stop. A little more. Well, it's just shaking. No, a little more down. A little more down. Sorry. Down, 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 down.
It's staying right there. It's staying right there.
What, can you go lower? No, seriously. It needs to go.
I don't think it can.
Oh, okay, I got it. All right. Otherwise, we make her get taller.
I think
Okay, so we bring it in so it's basically just out of frame. We can use the modeling light here if we want to make sure it's hitting it. Is it hitting it? I can't see from here. Yeah, okay, it's hitting it. Okay, and, well, I have an audience, they can tell me. This is why I always shoot with an audience. My clients are always like, why is there an audience here? But I'm like, you believe me, it's worth it. All right, now the shadow's filled in, right? You weren't sure if it was going to happen. Well, actually, that's the one with the diffuser. So it's apples to apples here. Okay. Boom. Now she's like,
now I have a net.
yes. So we can shape the light with our reflector however we like. Because of the nature of the position of this beauty dish, because of the position of this beauty dish, if I lower it much more, I'm not going to get much light on it, which means I can't really lower it if that was too much fill. What I would do in that case is probably switch to white. But I kind of like it. It gives you that pop, right? It's got that vibe going on.
She's got all that black on for negative.
Yeah, and she's got, and there we see both of the reflectors, the reflector in her eye, so you know that like I'm actually doing it.
And the skin texture.
And the skin texture. Yeah. That all make sense? And we're building this up. All right, let's go to a grid. Now, when we put the grid on, we're going to take the angle of the light that comes out of the beauty dish, which is like 120-ish degrees. I think it's 124.5 degrees technically. And we're going to reduce it. I just made that up.
Yeah.
We're going to reduce it to 25 degrees. Okay? Which means it's going to get much colder. No, which means it's going to spread way less, right? It's important to say again here, because I mentioned it earlier, this is not focusing the light. This is reducing the spill, okay? Focusing the light creates a hot spot in the center. This does not do that. This creates, well, the hot center is a little bit brighter, but it's basically feathered out. It's a much different effect, and you're not increasing your power with this, you're in fact decreasing it. This is going to do nothing now. But the client doesn't know that, so we'll leave it there. It makes it feel like we're doing more work.
Right.
And here we're probably going to also change the position of the beauty dish, but let's just start. Again, this is with a grid. TTL is going to make an adjustment for us, and we're going to come in. Now, what do we see as a difference here, besides the shadows no longer filled in, of course, is look at the difference in her cheeks. Right? We can see how it tightens it in, right? If we bring the beauty dish in even tighter, we'll get even more of that. So we can bring the dish in closer, and let's get that little butterfly shadow people were asking about. Let's get that classic shape. So I'm gonna take this out. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I want to use it again. Yeah, I might use it again, so maybe put it off this way. All right. All right, and then what I'm gonna do here, this is the advantage of having wheels, is we are gonna move it in slightly, because remember, in order to get that shadow, we gotta move this in slightly. Closer it is to her, the more shadow we can have. Because of the way the stand is here, I'm going to have to actually do this, which is, just going to adjust it from here. I'm going to give a little more angle, okay? Not a lot. A little bit's all you need. A little dab will do you. I want to make sure that it's not in my shot, which it is. Yep.
Someone asking, is spot metering better for portraiture?
Okay, is spot meter better for portraiture? I have found that the matrix metering in the Nikon works totally fine. I almost never use spot metering, except in very specific circumstances. So I say, no, I don't think it's better. I don't think it can necessarily hurt, but I would not say it is better, based on my experience. Okay, this is with the grid closer to change our angle slightly. Now we're coming in, see, by bringing it up, see, now we get that butterfly. Okay, under her nose. And by bringing it in closer, the shadow on her neck drops down lower, and we also get a quicker fall off, so we see her cheeks popping out even more, and we're getting more gradation on the background. Because remember, this is what it looks like when there's no flash, which means everything in this shot is from me. If I want the background to be black, it's not right now. I'd have to figure out either angle the light differently, back up. There's lots of things I could do, but I actually like that gradation, so I'm happy. Okay, grid in closer, getting the butterfly. Now, if we want to fill in the shadow, the reflector's not going to really work for us that well because we don't have really enough space. This is tilt down more. We might get a little bit in there, but I don't think it'll be enough. You know, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Because usually, when I say it's not going to work in a live demo, it always works. I wish that would be that way in life, but nope. All right. Yeah, that'll hit it. All right. I think it's going to work. I have new faith. I'm going to. Boop. Is it hitting there? Yep. Yeah. Erica says it works. All right. Are we not going to have to use another light? Can I still charge for the other light? No, nothing. It's there. It's not enough, though. Tiny bit of fill. Not enough. We might have to angle it up flatter. We could tip this down further. But now, because I did that first shot with the reflector and I'm already charging for it, I can bring in a light. Let's just see. I'm just going to tip it up a little bit. Suddenly it's becoming a single light demo. But I do that in February on Valentine's Day. That's not bad, actually. Okay, that's filled in. It's okay. I want a little more control, okay? Because of that, I'm going to use a second light. We're going to use what's called active fill. So active fill, this is passive fill, or inactive fill if you want to use kind of a clunkier way of saying it. I do want a question.
Someone's asking the difference between that beauty dish and one of the foldable ones, which you have an entire video on, I think.
Yes, you could check out the video on my on my channel. I do an entire comparison. I think in the end, this one's a little bit more punchy, and you have a little more control. That is basically the difference. The grids are different. It's got a flatter thing. But I think in the end, I'm pretty sure what I ended up saying in the video was that if you are not somebody who uses a beauty dish all the time, and you use a folding one, it's probably fine. If you shot this right now with Erica, and then you had to go to another place and shoot the exact same shot with somebody else, and you used a folding beauty dish, it wouldn't look the same. It's a different beauty dish. It's not going to look the same. So it kind of comes down to why you want the folding versus not folding.
Hey, what's going on, Ab?
Oh, I dropped the Brooklyn reflector. Are you taking that with you to? No. All right. It's a prototype. This is a octagon, 3 foot. Luckily, they label everything, which makes it easier for me. We're going to use this as our fill light. What we want when we're using a fill light is for our fill generally to be bigger than our key. And remember, like Seth pointed out earlier, the further something is back, the smaller it becomes. So if I put this behind me, which I might actually do, it's going to actually shrink it, but I think it'll still be bigger. Maybe yeah, I think I will do that. We could do this a lot of different ways. I don't really want to do a fill from the bottom because I don't want it to be conflicted with the other light. I don't want that reflection in our eye. There's a lot of reasons why I don't want to do it. Plus, we just did that, and you guys like to see different stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called on-axis fill, and we're going to fill from the camera position. But I can't put it right over the camera because if I do, it'll get blocked by the beauty dish, right? So I'm going to put it behind me. This is something that we used to do a lot in the 90s. Go back and look at fashion magazines in the 90s. Every shot of the model has a photographer in their eye and the giant softbox. That Ellen chrome, that big Ellen chrome. God, so good. That's such a nice box.
Well, it's really good with like a XL umbrella too.
Yeah, you can also use a giant umbrella. What you want is big and neutral here so that
Hey,
we
Mary
basically
Irene.
just fill in.
You look at your chat's on fire. You got Ab, you got Mary Irene.
Mary Irene in the house. Oh, battery dead. We're going to grab the one off the charger.
That's my new thing for 2024 is dead batteries in every demo. That's my new thing.
That's right. I bought a whole set of batteries for my light meter. I do have my light meter with me, just in case. We haven't had to use it yet. The TTL's been good. Now that I've said that, it'll be off. All right. This is the same light we used before, the same kind of light. I'm going to put it in group B, okay? That way I can control it independently from the other light. I'm going to affix this softbox to it. Don't do it this way. Actually, let me show you the right way to do it. I feel like I'm always here doing things and I do them wrong. Whenever you put a softbox on a light, you're supposed to put the softbox on the ground. You put the light into it, and pick the whole thing up. That's the right way to do it. Nobody does it this way, but that's the right way to do it. That's not true. Some people do. All right, we're going to use this light, and we're going to basically shoot it flat on at Erica. And what we're going to do is, I could jump into TTL and say, hey, set the exposure to this one different, but instead, what I'm going to do is turn this light off in the front, because I like to do things in pieces. So we're going to take AA light, we're going to turn it off. Take the B light, we're going to turn it on, with the monolight apparently, and we're just going to make an exposure. And we're going to look and we're going to be like, now, if you're doing this, make sure that you're going to stand, if you're going to be standing in front of it, make sure you're standing in front of it when you do it. So if you were light metering this, and I was standing out there and I didn't get in the shot, obviously it wouldn't compensate for the fact that I'm in there. And to answer all the questions I always get about that, no, my shadow's not in the shot. Okay? So here is a terrible shot. And this is what you want. When you do a fill light, it should look like this. Just absolutely flat and ugly. Like that's it, because this is what we want. We don't want our fill light to shape our subject. We want it to be bad. All right. All right.
Terrible.
What's that?
You got it from the TLV. Okay. The way the mode 2 works, they want you to TTL all mode once and work from the TTL.
Okay, am I in the right mode?
No, what I'm saying is, they want you to do the plus and minus from TTL.
From
instead
TTL.
of locking it in.
Gotcha. Okay. What I'm going to do here is, now I have both lights on. And let's see what the TTL can do for us. I'm going to go to the B, and I'm going to say, well, you know, generally, because I have this book that I bought in 1975, and it tells me that a fill light should be 2 stops less than a key. Let's go with that, because they knew what they were talking about. And we're going to set this one at -2. What that means is TTL is going to remeter this whole scene. It's going to figure out the exposure it thinks is correct, and then it's going to reduce this light by 2 stops. All right. TTL's been really good to us so far. Do you think it's going to I think it's going to do it.
Stop saying it.
All right, that's not bad. Okay. I think that's too much. It went off. 2 stops is too much.
Yeah.
That should be a t-shirt. All right, so now that we know 2 stops is too much, can I lock it in now? No. Yes. I'm going to lock it in by going off of TTL. This one's at 6, this one's at 4. I'm going to take this one on 4, that's the power, and I'm going to bring it up. No, yeah, up 1 stop, so it's going to be 5. Okay, so 5 and 6, or 5, 6, which is my setting. Do you think that makes a difference? I don't think that has anything to do with it, so I will not say it because it'll confuse people. But I said it anyways. There we go. We're filling in, and we can control how much fill we want. We can put a gel on this light. There's all kinds of things we can do. We can do all kinds of things. If we want to, maybe just a tiny bit more. Go 5.2. Yeah, it's important. All right, there we go. That's perfect. That right there is the ratio that you want. Write that down, kids.
There's a question in the chat.
Question in the chat.
Yeah, so pretty much what if you don't have a beauty dish, could you use 2 soft boxes?
All right, so let's address the softbox beauty, because somebody else asked that earlier and didn't kind of get into it. So you can shoot with anything, right? What you want to consider is that your light source should be small enough so that it's kind of hard, we'll say. So if I was using a softbox here, I'd use like maybe a 1.5 or 2 foot softbox, right? You want it to be punchy or specular. I like it that way anyways. So you might want a silver line softbox, or you might want to remove one of your internal diffusers, right? Either way, you can get a similar feel. Will it be the same? No, it'll be similar. That's fine. You could use an umbrella. You could use a small shoot-through umbrella. Difference would be you couldn't do things like the grid to shape it, right? That would also work. You could use it. You could use an umbrella back here. You could use anything back here. If there's a white wall, you could bounce a flash off the wall, as long as it's clean. What matters here is smallish, punchy, close, angle, big, far away, spreading, soft. Okay, that's all we have to worry about. The exact gear doesn't matter.
Is that a nursery rhyme? What is
That's a nursery rhyme. Do you like it? There you go. All right. But that's what matters. So this could be this Profoto, which is what it is. It could be Codex. It could be Dynalite, Flashpoint. It could be Norman. It could be Speedotron. Could be Balcar.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Sorry, I thought that was a little soft, so I just want to shoot another one. Plus, I'm required to shoot once per, couple minutes. Otherwise, the chat gets anxious. All right, questions. Should we add another light? Do we have another light? No. All right, we don't have another light. We can't have it. Questions? Did I see a hand going up? Nobody. Okay.
You're going to tell me this chat's on fire, like nonstop derailing him, and none of you guys have a question in this chat?
I said everything but Chimera. That is true. I did say everything but Chimera. Chimera makes amazing softboxes, as you all know.
Chimera's dope.
They do not make a beauty dish, although they do make a soft beauty dish, which is very nice. Should we use that hot light? Is that too much of a pain in the butt? Because I just want to light the background. I feel like they want the background lit. Do you guys want the background lit? The Nanlite one or whatever it's.
Oh, you mean the panel?
Yeah.
Oh, we can do the panel,
Yeah, unless it's a pain in the butt.
You want to do a shorty?
Yeah, we'll just like do. People love gels. You guys like gels, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got it. What would it? That was the wrong knob. Nobody saw that. All right. Oh, no, you can leave the box on there. All right. If you want to be cool.
Finally, you're doing that demo? Oh, man, Dan.
It's important. Listen, if anybody knows how to be cool.
It's Miles Davis.
We're going to mix lights now. This is a teaser for a demo I'm doing next month.
Well, this is RGB.
Yeah, that's why I'm using it. So this is a Nanlite.
Mixed panel 150.
Yeah,
Mixed
150, mixed panel 150.
Mixed panel 150.
Mixed panel 150. It does colors and stuff. What color do you like?
Blue.
Blue, all right. Can't go wrong with blue. So that's going to dial in the blue color. Is there a lead gel that you like? No, just any blue? All right.
Double CTV.
Double CTB?
I'm going to swap the grid though.
Okay, we're losing the grid.
Model light.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to get dark in here in a second, guys. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put this, yeah, let's put it behind her. Will she block it?
She might have to go taller.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. We can change everything. We'll change the entire set for you.
That's pretty tall. I feel like a little tiny child. Just you tell me.
All right, we're going to just throw a color gel in the background.
Fun.
Blue one at that.
Or do you want to go just, you want to keep the box on?
Yeah, because I would do feather.
Oh, okay.
Actually, could we get it lower, or is that as low as it goes?
That's what I'm saying. It's still up to the left. You want to do an arm off?
Yeah, unless it can sit on the ground, or is it not like?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to get, because remember, this light is causing on the background here kind of a feather effect, and I like that. But I want to have some color on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the light on the bottom, and we're going to kind of mimic that feather effect a little bit. Now, if I wanted to take the easy road out, I would do the opposite and put it on top. Oh, yeah. Let me not dent that. Thank you. It's you don't want to leave these marks in this. Set this not like that.
Let's get you down.
He gets very upset if you do that.
Kid at a bar. Okay.
All right, there we go. That's how you know you're working, when you get the light on the ground.
Being down and dirty.
That's right. I mean, if we had like a pancake apple box and a baby plate, we could drill it in and call the grips over here to set up the gaffers. All right.
I don't know how. It's not gonna be that blue though.
Yeah, well, it will be if you let it get dark in here. I know it's gonna. Sorry, online.
Put on modeling light.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the modeling light on so you can see Erica.
It's me.
I'm gonna turn off. Oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on. I'm just gonna turn on this model light because we do want to see that anyways. There we go. All right, so we do have some bleed in here, obviously, from that light, which we'll turn off in a second. But the simplest way to do here, now the person who asked about live view, this is when I'll do it so you guys can see it. So we can see basically, that's the exposure. Now I did that, so what I did here was when you put the remote on top of the camera, it fakes the exposure so you can see what it looks like. So now I'm looking at the actual exposure, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dial my shutter speed until I start to see, and I am gonna get some light on her from the modeling light, but we'll turn it off when we go to shoot. And at 80th, we're starting to get that nice blue in the background, nice royal blue. Now it's gonna get washed out a little bit because some of our light's hitting it, but let's just see what we get. I'm gonna turn off the modeling light for a second, so Erica's gonna be in the dark. And let's see, we can get a focus. And now what we're doing, we're mixing flash and
You made the background blue.
I'm out. That's it. Seth doesn't leave me. Seth doesn't like when I walk away. Now the background's blue, right? We mixed our light sources together to make a blue background, and then when your client's like, "Oh, blue? No, I want
Oh, come on, Dan. I gotta go.
red."
It's very
You can't do it with a remote?
No, I
Oh.
can't.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, you know what? I can.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Oh.
It's not hooked up.
Wow. Well, that's what Seth's here for. Thank you, Seth.
Actually, it's not what I'm here for, but you know what, Dan?
It's not what he's here for at all.
But you're really good at it. Orange.
Okay, so shouldn't fill generally be relatively close? Is it meant to be less shadow inducing than the key? But here I think, okay, it is compromising. No, so your fill shouldn't necessarily be close because the closer the light is to something, the faster the fall off, which means that you're more likely to cause a shadow when the light is close. So by backing it up, you can get rid of the shadow on some level. So that's why you don't necessarily have to have your fill light close. Oftentimes people move it in close because they don't want it spilling everywhere. But in this case, I want it everywhere. I want that ugly light that I showed you in the beginning.
It's gonna be something.
Close enough.
Okay,
Because it's RGB going through it.
you mentioned gel in the fill with the blue background. Huh. You could gel the fill. If I was gonna gel the fill, I'd probably put on a beauty gel, but that feels like another demo. I don't think I have my beauty gels with me. Do you have the beauty gels?
I need some extra. I think I got gels here. You want gels?
Oh, there we go. Do you have beauty gels though?
No.
Okay, then no. So I wouldn't, okay, so yes, you can throw a CTO or CTB on your light to adjust the color temperature, but if you truly want to add warmth to skin tone, you want to use what's called beauty gels generally. Things like ambers. Those are really what you want. They make a whole, they're pinks and they're great, but they're not inexpensive and they're very special. So that if you want to use gels on a person's skin, I would look into them and maybe we could do a demo just about beauty gels at some point. Okay, there you go. That's like a mauve red. I like that.
What's going on gray number 1?
Yeah, well, it's fine. Okay, so we could make, now how would we make the red more intense? That's right. We would make this light not hit the background. But we're not gonna be able to do that, so I'm not gonna do it. But that's what you would have to do. For instance, if you go like this, in theory, that should be more intense, right? Because now we don't have the flash hitting it. You can actually see where the flash hits it, right? So if you didn't have the flash hit the background, then the red would be more intense. But, again, since we're just messing around here, I'm not gonna dig into that. That wasn't the point.
I'm just gonna. So there's a question in chat. Why is everything so expensive in photography? Well, for one
Good question.
reason, you're talking about precision tools. Really, there's always price points and tiers, but there's dependability, there's consistency, there's reasons, and you have to figure out your budget and what works and what point you're willing to go to. But you will see benefits from. Yes, it's expensive, but there are things that come back from that.
Exactly. You don't always have to get premium stuff. You can do a lot. This is why I made a point of saying, why are we using the beauty dish? Not because it's $400 plus another $300 for the grid. It's because it's a certain size and it does a certain thing. If we can, in fact, I had a good friend who used to do portraits, and they actually bought a sheet pan from a baking shop and put hot lights in it and used to shoot with it for portraits. And it looked great. It didn't look exactly like this, but they weren't trying to match this. They were trying to get a certain look, and it worked for them. There's no reason that you have to. The reason for this is consistency. I know anywhere I go, anytime I could get a beauty dish, I could set it up, I'll always get this demo. If I come out here with a pan from the bakery and some lights, you know, that's Seth's demo.
Yeah, well, as much as fun as that stuff is, and as much as we can do that, next time you pull out that pan, it's bent. You got to build it again. That's another hour, right? So at some point, it's like any other job with any other tools. You have to decide at what point does it mean an investment.
That's correct. Can you use a killer as a hair light? Sure, of course I could. Or are you asking me to do it? I'll do it. You got 7 minutes, I can do it. Do you want me to do it, Seth? Are you gonna talk hair light?
Do you want to fly it, or you want to go like straight up?
No, let's put it to the side. Let's go as simple as possible.
You still doing the fill?
No, let's kill the fill. Let's get wild.
Yeah.
Killing the film.
Take this.
Okay, got it.
Yep. You go sit.
Okay. I thought he was in the way.
All right. So I won't spin it and just point you at the audience because I've done that before.
No,
And the
just don't
then
spin at me.
I'll point it at Erica. She's used to it.
That's all right.
Look, Dan, we're back in 2010. Look, like the grid's flying off the light.
We got it. All right. That's how you know you're cool, when the grid's hanging off like that. All right, this is backwards. All right, so hold on.
Ready to go.
When you're standing behind the C-stand, right, the big hands need to be there. All right. I'm going to turn this off while I'm adjusting you.
So someone's asking, I'm assuming with a beauty dish you can't feather the light to make the background color more intense.
Okay, so with the beauty dish, I could feather the light to make the background more intense, but why would that be a problem?
And wouldn't it be easier to use strobe lights with gel? What's the purpose of mixing lights? Because he didn't have another strobe, so that's what we had.
That's right.
And you might be in the same position where you go, I have an RGB tube and only no more strobes left. Now you know.
Right. So the reason why I don't feather the beauty dish differently to do that is because what's more important? Getting the light that I love already on my subject, or getting the background a different color? You have to make that choice, right? So I don't want to change the position of the beauty dish. It's perfect. If I was going to do anything, if I had to get it darker, I would just move the entire set, but I definitely wouldn't change the position of the beauty dish relative to my subject. That'd be probably the last thing I do. All right. So here it is. It's pointed at her. Oh, actually, I like that. We're going to do like actually, we'll use it as a hair light first. That's what they asked for.
Right.
All right. Oh, Well, you're going to turn off the lights for a second for me, right?
Me?
No, Seth
Turn the
is.
lights up.
Can you kill the light that's right there for me? I think it's that light. Yeah. So again, I should probably do this so you guys can see.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this.
All right.
Hang on.
I'm hanging on.
Yeah, this way.
I'm hanging on loosely, but I won't let go.
Put the light on you. And,
All right. What light is, can we turn off that one though? There we go, perfect. There we go. All right. So I'm looking through the camera and we can see that it's very dark. So again, if I want to make it the right exposure, I'm going to have to keep dialing this until we get, it's actually on the side of her face a little bit, which I kind of like. Yeah. All right. This is just this and no flash, basically. If I turn the modeling light, we'll see where the flash falls. So we can do that. And we can kind of see like where everything's falling. All right, turn that off because I don't want that to affect my shot. And here we go, a little red on the face coming from the back.
And a hush falls over the
There it
crowd.
is. Little subtle hair light. Yeah, right? She got a little red in her hair like she's out partying. She's out. There you go. Easy as that. Is that what my preference would be? Probably not. I mean, you have to decide what lights are going to work for what things. This is not necessarily the best light in the world to use for a hair light. It's not going to be super bright from where she is. I'm going to have to worry about stuff. I might actually use it as my key if I was going to do that. It really depends on my setup. You know, so again, you can use any of these lights in any position, but then I'm going to change, because remember, this is small. So this could be similar to this. Yes, sir. Yeah, even though it's constant light. Yes, sir.
Would there be any benefit of putting the hair light directly behind her and bouncing it off the flat wall?
Sure. If you put the hair light, so the question is, would there be a benefit of putting the hair light behind her and bouncing it off the wall? Well, that would basically light the background, right? But or I could put it right behind her and kind of do like a blow through like that. You could do that. It's just too wide, so I'd see it. It would just be challenging. So from here, I thought this was the simplest place to put it. But yeah, you could do that. Maybe two would be nice. One by one. What's that?
It's not a 1x1. Sorry, guys in the chat. It's not a 1x1. It's a dedicated softbox just for this light. So it's like a weird size
Right.
that doesn't have like a size. It's
Add a
just
cookie to the background. Oh. There you go. $400 mixer. Seth uses a mixer over here. He's on the Mighty Mix, as I said at the beginning. All right. Any final questions, thoughts, concerns? Nada. All right. Let me turn this off. It's very intense in here with this red light. I feel like
I'm in like
Yeah.
a club.
we're at the club. Doom, doom,
It's a good
doom,
light,
doom.
man. I mean,
This is a very nice light.
it's the light I chose to light the entire space for streams.
Right. This is, but if you're watching online, or I guess even if you're here, you can see them. This is the same, right? This here is what's lighting me.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them. All right. I will be back on February 15th. When are you coming back? Seth's not, yeah, he'll be back. Every Tuesday.
I'm retired.
No, every Wednesday
I'm out.
at 10 a.m.
Absolutely,
next
made me
Wednesday.
quit. No, but me and Dan are going to imaging. So
Yep.
if you guys are going to be there, Louisville next week, booth 426 is at Adorama. We're doing demos, but Dan's on stage Monday morning. I'm on stage Tuesday, Monday, 5 o'clock, one of the days. I'm going to find out real soon. And Joe McNally, Ab Cisse, Hilmar Smith, Jeff Carpenter. We got a lot of roster going on in the booth, so come stop by if you're going to be at imaging. And we got seats to fill, so please stop by our channel.
Yeah, stop by. It's fun.
Our booth.
We'll have a good time. Seth is going to be there with stickers for everyone. At his
Fine.
demo,
All right,
not
fine.
at my demo. We'll give you stickers. I am Daniel Norton.
Oh.
This has been Erica. Over here we have Seth, last X-Witness. The X is silent. And yeah, subscribe to Adorama and do all that good stuff. I'll see you on the 15th of February for a Valentine's Day, special Valentine's Day.
That's a Wednesday. February 14th is a
No,
Wednesday.
on the 15th. Well, I can't actually do it on Valentine's.
Lighting for lonely people
Lighting
the day
for
after.
lonely people, day after Valentine's. If it's Valentine's and you get, you find yourself single. Come on down.
Why? Are you going to die on me? All right, everybody clap so everyone. There we go. All right, thanks, Dan.